Episode number 93 of Making the Case. Beggars can't be choosers. Let's get it. Hey, what up, YouTube? It's your boy, Dr. Jacob Isom, educator, author, speaker, entrepreneur, content creator, consultant, father, a little bit of everything. Back at you with another episode of Making the Case, episode number 93. All right. Y'all already know we get two channel norms. One, we attack points in our people, and then two, we don't do all the cussing, derogatory stuff because we are professional over here. All right. Hey, once again, we got another great episode for you today. Beggars can't be choosers. Now, you might get fooled by the title of this episode, and I don't want you to be fooled. All right. So that's why in my opening statement, I'm just going to go ahead and outline what it is that I mean by that. See, a lot of you have heard the phrase, right? But you may not have heard it broken down the way I will attempt to break it down on this episode. So, what I mean by beggars can't be choosers is the fact that when you are in a less desirable position or when you're in a weaker position, when you are in a situation where you're down, um, you can't act like that you're on top and you can't be too choosy and too picky, right? That comes in terms of dating, that comes in terms of making financial moves, etc. Right? So you got to understand where you are in terms of your life, right? Particularly when you're young, and it's going to be different between male and female, okay? I mean, let's just be honest. When you're a young female, you're on top when it comes to the sexual marketplace. So you can be picky, you can be choosy, right? When you're a male, not so. That's why you see young males typically are your simps. I'm gonna be honest, right? They will do anything that they can in order to get a female's attention, female's gaze, in order to be liked by a female. Now you see the roles reverse as men and women age, right? When men get of age, they get a little bit more money, get confidence, charisma, and things of that nature, right? And so they get a whole slew of women that are after them, right? From the 20s to the 30s to the 40s, depending on how old the man is. For a woman, it changes a little bit, right? Although here's the difference: for women, they get 50, and you hear it from celebrity women who are of that age bracket all the time, right? We just heard it recently with Tracy Ellis Ross, Vivica A. Fox, right? So women believe because they are celebrity and they have money that they still have the same options, which I think deep down inside they understand that they don't, but their ego is something else, right? And I often talk about or I don't think we talk about enough the ego that women have, right? So the whole idea of modernism and a modern woman is she has an ego, right? She wants to gain money and popularity so that she can increase her chances when it comes to the dating pool, and when it comes to getting out of tickets or whatever it is, right? So, and I don't want to veer too far off from the topic of today's episode, but um, in this day and age, when you talk about feminism, when you talking about modernism, even we could throw capitalism in there, right? We're talking about power and control, right? We talking about who has a leg up, and that fits right into what I mean when I say beggars can be choosers, right? Another way to look at it, you get winners and losers, right? You have those who are in a position of power and those who are not. Okay. We've all have been there. We all have in a relationship been the one with less power or more power. So um So in today's episode, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about it more so from a dating aspect. But we also gonna address it from a kind of a spiritual, um, psychological sense, if you so to speak. All right. So without further ado, we're gonna get into today's episode. Of course, I got 3 pieces of evidence, a series of videos that we're gonna break down, and we're gonna see why beggars cannot be choosers. Let's go.
All right, guys, get out your pencils and papers. Our tests are going to start in a couple minutes. Bro. What? Bro, let me get the pencil. I know you got one. Come on. Oh, my God. Bro, you never had shit. Here. Good. Is this a wooden pencil? Yeah, that's what you asked for. Bro, take this back. You know I can only work with mechanical. You should have brought one then. Broke ass. Teach. Go ahead and give me a 0. I can't work under these conditions, bro. All right, guys, get out your pencils and paper.
Have men who are 20 years past their prime, guts, dad bods with no kids on social media saying they're only going to date women who have BBLs. You have to have a 6-pack, you have to have a big butt, you have to have big boobs, whatever the case may be. If you don't fit either of these molds, then you are not desirable. If you're not working out, if you're not in a gym, if you're not a gym influencer, you are not desirable. However, this is coming from men, like I said, 20, 30, 40 years past their prime, and they're voicing these things. But the women are undesirable if they're not, I guess, looking better than they are.
Cheating wife has a long list of demands for her mental health. Should I leave her? I, 30 male, and my wife, 30 female, got married recently. We were together for 6 years before marriage and engaged for 3. Her mental health has always been a struggle: depression, ADHD, anxiety. But during the relationship, it felt like it's slowly beginning worse, and COVID was really bad. She said in the past that she felt like I was the only person she's ever met who made her feel she could become who she wants to be. But I suppose that stopped being true at some point. After her second COVID recovery, she spiraled into a depression worse than I had seen before. She decided to take a leave from work. The only thing she really did consistently was yoga. She would say she's going out to a bar with friends from the class, and then she would come home, sometimes drunk. During her times out, guys would walk up to her.
Okay.
Eventually, one wore her down, and she made out with him. And
tap here for the full story.
My cheating wife has a long list of
You're not who you say you want to be, and it's because you haven't faced what's hard yet. Life isn't going to hand you the path that you want, and nothing great comes without struggle, right? So those hard times that you're going through, it's almost like training for practice. Like when they're preparing you, conditioning you to handle the next game, think of each challenge like a practice drill. It's going to make you sharper, tougher, maybe more resilient. And when you push through that one tough spot in your life, you build the strength to take on what's next. So stop wishing for things to just be easy and embrace the hard stuff. And that's how you actually become who you say you want to be.
All right, so that was my first piece of evidence, and I want to show you those clips because I thought they all kind of gave a good example of different ways that, or different reasons why beggars shouldn't be choosers, right? One clip showed a cheating spouse. Another showed someone asking for something and then complaining when they got it. And then, so you just saw different scenarios of people not being grateful. And that's really one of the messages that I really wanted to come out of this episode is like, many times, and we're seeing it more and more so now in our current society, like we're not grateful for the things that we have. We're not grateful for the things that people do for us. Now, we always say it's the little things that matter, but at the end of the day, why are people expecting $2,000 bags and expensive dates and stuff like that? Why can't you appreciate that person that's trying to spend time with you and get to know you and give you the things that you should truly value? Right? So, but what also comes out is the fact that you got to humble out and understand when you're not in a position to pick from different places to be a chooser, right? Because there's going to be times in our life, it's going to be situational. It might be for a season, right? It'll never be for a lifetime, but where you got to humble out and say, you know what, I'm just not in the position right now, so I got to take what I can take, and I got to appreciate where I am. Like, no matter what I do and where I am, I always appreciate where I'm at, because I understand I'm always trying to scale. I'm always trying to level up, and I've always done that because I work hard at what I do. Okay, so beggars can't be choosers, man. You got to understand and appreciate where you are. You got to appreciate the people that you have around them. You got to surround yourself with good people, and you can't think that you always deserve. And I hear a lot of women say all the time, I deserve, I'm worth. Okay, like, so a lot of time women be doing a lot of begging, especially for those women that's always expecting a man for pay for this and do for that. Like, you begging, ma, and I know you didn't heard that before, right? Like, so how are you gonna dictate and tell me where I am to take you or what I need to buy you when you in the begging position? It just don't make sense to me. But anywho, let's get to my second piece of evidence. Let's do it.
Please, bro, somebody, anybody, please give me something to eat. Please, I'll eat anything in the world, or at least some spare change. Anybody got spare change?
Excuse me, sir. I heard you needed some food, so I bought you some Popeyes down the road over there. Yeah, here you go. And by the way, it's a free-piece meal, and I didn't know if I should get you
Man, nobody want this. Damn, bro, what's the problem? You just said you will eat anything. Man, nobody want this, bro. I want real meal, bro. This is disgusting as shit, bro. Bro, you were just begging on the street seconds ago. How are you choosing what to eat, bro? That don't even make no sense, bro. You say you will eat anything, bro.
Don't care. What are you talking about?
All I'm saying is, if you're broke, just say that.
Okay, so why are you holding up a Popeyes cup? What you gotta say about that, huh?
Hey, that's besides the point. Matter of fact, bro, why is cup smell like that? I hate bro niggas like you, man. Like, y'all didn't get your money up. If you one begging, bro, how you even talking right now? Get your ass up, man.
Man, forget you.
Yo, can somebody give me some spare change at least, man? I hate bro niggas, bro.
Come to realize that the hardest part about being single in my 50s is the fact that so much has changed since the last time I was single. The last time that I was single, there were no dating apps. You could still meet people online, but you had to sit down at your computer and actually get to know somebody before you even thought of going on a date with them.
The real question is, why can't you meet anybody in real life? Could it be your age? Yeah, it could be your age. But why aren't 70-year-old guys approaching? Or maybe they are. But let me guess, you think you're too good for those guys. You need to look back in your phone and try to get back with an ex. How about that?
We just hope that somebody asks us on our first date and that they even resemble their pictures.
It doesn't matter if they look like their real pictures. If you want a companion, you got to take what you can get at this age. Beggars can't be choosers. Ever hear that figure of speech?
That I just think we can't catch up.
I think that a lot of women have high expectations for men that they've been rewarding for underachieving. And it's real. I think a lot of women have high expectations for men that they have been rewarding for underachieving, right? Like, men move based on incentive. If I have zero incentive to improve with you, then I won't, right? If I can show up and give you bare minimum effort, I can show up and not be considerate. I can show up and not take initiative to take you on dates. I can show up and communicate with you and still get 98 to 99% of the benefits that it comes with being with you. What incentive do I have to improve?
Beggars can't be choosers. The phrase beggars can't be choosers implies that someone in a position of need or dependency should not be picky or selective about what they receive. It suggests that when one is relying on the generosity or assistance of others, they should accept whatever help or resources they are offered without making demands or expressing preferences. It's a proverbial way of emphasizing the idea that when someone is in a disadvantaged or needy situation, they should be grateful for any support or assistance they receive, rather than being selective or demanding about what they're given. Thanks for watching. Beggars can't be choosers. The phrase beggars can't be.
All right, so there you have it. That was my second piece of evidence, and I thought that last clip was a great way to kind of end things off with kind of explaining what the whole concept of beggars can't be choosers is, right? Like you got to be grateful. Like I've already mentioned, like you're not always going to be in a position of power, and a lot of times people don't understand, particularly when it comes for dating, that like when it comes to the sexual market, like you're gonna have times where you're gonna be on top, and then you're gonna have time where you're not. When you're on top, you have to take advantage. You got to get the best candidate because you have the best options, right? But when you're not in the position where you have the most options, like you have to move like that. And a lot of time people don't. And I've already mentioned, particularly women, right? Like, and I get it. It's tough to age and to age out when it comes to having kids, to age out when it comes to getting the best selection when it comes to a man. Like all the different lists that a woman has, like, and she has to literally like mark out things off our list because she can't get there anymore because of her age. I get it. It's tough, but unfortunately, it's just a reality. Just like it's the reality for men when we're young. Like I tell females this all the time. I remember when I was young, like the women my age, they like the older dudes. And it just was what it was. Like, I ain't complain. A lot of men don't complain. We just like, hey, it is what it is. We at that time when we're young, we take what we can get. And that's just real talk. Like we take what we can get. But I tell you that what kind of spurred this episode on, I was coming out of a grocery store the other day. And to be honest with you, I really don't like people walking up on me because I grew up in the hood and yeah, enough said. But so this guy walked up on me, said, "Hey, can you spare some, something?" And I was like, to be honest with you, man, I don't think I have much. I usually don't keep cash on me. So and I happen to just have like $1 on me, right? And then he was like, you know what? I take it. Beggars can't be choosers. And like I appreciated his attitude so much, and I really wish I had more cash on him because I probably would have gave him everything in my wallet. Because I give like that, but and to be honest with you, I came out of college wanting to do more for the homeless, but that's neither here nor there. But um his attitude was he wasn't down like a lot of time when I see homeless people on the streets, which understandably so, right? But he had such a great attitude, and the thing about it is, like, I know that's extreme on the downside, but a lot of us are so comfortable that we think we deserve something, and we think that we are what we really not. And so we don't think of ourselves as a beggar. So we feel like we always have the option to choose, and that's just really reality shows us something different, though, right? Because it's always based on outcomes. If you're not getting the outcomes you feel like you get, you need to reevaluate yourself because you're not really what you think you are, and that goes for everybody. So I think this is a great episode to take heed to telling yourself the truth, getting advice from other people, and really taking stock and notice of your life. And if you're not getting the outcomes, then you're being too choosy. I mean, you're at a beggar point, and there's different places. Like I said, whether it's financial, dating, etc. Right? There are different points you could be in your life. So, and it kind of is what it is. The best thing to do is, like I said, humble out, learn, grow, get better, so you can get the outcomes you want. All right. So let's go into our last piece of evidence and wrap this episode on up. Let's do it.
Even those of us who are willing to pay, okay, what they're showing me is the skills and, you know, collectively in a totality. Sometimes those who are on your team, they bring your value down because they're beggars. Even those.
This one is the one that I want to look at. It says they purge, not they select toilets. Now purge is to do with you having like diarrhea. Or that's what purge means in pidgin English. It means diarrhea. It means basically beggars can't be choosers. So imagine if you have diarrhea, you don't have chance to say, oh, this toilet that when you have a diarrhea, you just want to poo it out or you just want to get it out of your stomach. So if you're beggars can't be choosers. This one is the one that I want to look at. It says they purge.
90% of the people that are praying have no idea how to pray. All that begging and hoping and wishing and calling on names of deities has no power. How you pray is this. You command everything you want into existence because the 90% of the people that are praying.
Let me tell you something you don't want to hear, but it's the truth. Okay. I heard this one saying. It's, everyone loves you, but no one likes you. And that shit hit me. Let me tell you something.
All right, that was my third piece of evidence, and we kind of switching gears, and this might hurt a little bit, but like begging is not gonna help you, man. Begging someone to like you, begging someone to love you, begging a higher power to save someone you love, begging a higher power to do anything, right? You got to do for self. That's not to mean that it's ineffective to have hope. It's ineffective to meditate, to pray. That's not what I'm saying. But you've heard of the phrase, faith without works is dead, right? So to think that you can just hope, pray, and wish things upon you that would happen nice, it's just not realistic, man. You got to do for self, and you got to understand that, like, as the last video clip said, like, everybody love you, right? Everybody like is supposed to be human. Everybody's supposed to supposedly have love for everybody, right? Especially if you're a religious person, right? But understand that most people are not gonna like you. Haven't you heard in relationships that like people who've been in marriages for a long time or not even a long time, people say, well, I love the person, but I don't like them. You've heard that before, right? I mean, I think it's such a true phrase, you know? So understand that, man, if you looking for people to like you and like that really gets you down, that's the last thing that you should really be worried about. You should be worried about serving others. And if you're a believer, serving God, right? I would never tell, just because I'm a non-believer doesn't mean that people don't have the right to believe in what they want to believe. Now, I'm different, right? There's not many people like me, and that's why you won't really see it on the opposite side, right? Most believers won't tell you that, hey, you cannot believe and do what you want to do. I'm not saying there's some out there that don't. I'm just saying most people don't, right? Because they stuck in their cocoon, right? In their cult, all right? But man, like, don't beg nobody, man. Like, live your life. Okay. And that's it, man. I hope you appreciate the perspective I brought when it comes to beggars can't be choosers. I know some of it was tough to hear and tough to swallow. But hey, you always more than welcome to tell me what you think in the comment, which a lot of people have. And let me say this before I go, man. Like, energy is energy, man. Like, now, do I prefer positive energy? Absolutely. Because I'm always about high frequency versus low frequency. But energy is energy. Like, you know, when people cheer root me on, it's go time for me. But when people, you know, have negative things to say or want to try to diminish my character, it's still energy for me. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate those of you that's positive, because more of you are positive than negative. And I just think worldwide it is, because I do believe in the 80-20 principle. And I might do a video on that one day. But man, as always, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Rock, like, comment, subscribe, check out my latest book. Follow me on social media. My handles be in the description. But as always, I'm you, you are me. Love always, love eternal. And remember, the worst thing you do is lie to yourself. And I believe we made that case, baby. All right. Deuces. One love.